Okay, with regard to short-term opportunities, I was going to type you an answer, maybe send a picture, but then I figured it might be easier just to send a quick video and just explain it a little clearer. Because when it comes to the shorter-term movements, I mean, I could show you many stocks that are acting, have nice uptrends at the moment and should continue higher, but it's so critical that that in terms of entry and risk management, that you get in at the right times within those trends, and even more so for me, I'm looking for a very specific price pattern that develops, to just give you a high probability of continuation right from the start. So while I could show you a lot of stocks that I think are going to do well, they might not be displaying that price action at the moment. But just to give you an example, and then there are high price stocks, low price stocks. So for example, here's a stock, Charter Communications, that I really like. And it was just a couple of days ago where the perfect buy signal developed, even though I think it's going to go much higher. Also, it's like a $670 stock. So that might be more conducive for options than buying the outright stock. But just to show you what I mean I'll just highlight a couple of stocks here just to show you how the timing is so important and the price patterns and the setups as you kind of browse the universe of all these different stocks. So Charter, you can see here on the left, this is the long-term monthly chart. What it's been doing, I just like the stock in general. I always track it. And it had like 4 months here. These are monthly charts of just sideways action. So that's kind of a good pattern in terms of when it resumes up, it's getting ready to make maybe another leg higher. And what happened was recently, a couple of, I've been watching it. It came up to this key blue line, this is the shorter term daily chart, and it came up to resistance. You can see here 1, 2, 3, 4 prior times it just stopped at this level. So to me, if it broke through this blue line, that was going to be a great buy to kind of get back in line with this bigger trend and maybe start a whole new monthly leg, and maybe a few months higher. So what happened was the beautiful pattern was we came up to resistance here, and then on the daily chart, you could see here for 4 days it was just going sideways. So I had an alert in. Once it broke above 660, it was a great buy. And you could see here it did it last week. And on that day, right at the open, these are the 15-minute charts. That was the great buy, given the overall context I described here. And then it immediately went up, and now we've been grinding higher. So to me, we're kind of pulling back today a little bit, which is fine within this trend. I think this stock on the monthly basis should now, make a whole nother leg higher. So any of these pullbacks, as long as it holds above 660, should be good buys for continuation higher. But the key is that the best buy was right here on the breakout, and you can control your risk in case it rejects the breakout and goes lower. So that's why, while I could recommend a stock like this right now, because I think given the context, it should go a lot higher. If you get in right here, you might, if it doesn't work out, the ideal entry would have been lower, where, if it heads back down there, you could take a loss on a trade right here. Whereas if you got in over here, you wouldn't take a loss at all. So anyway, that's an example. But then just some other examples like today. So that was something I've been tracking for a while. Then there's a stock, RH. Let me see what it is this morning. It's right here, RHE. This was a great buy early on. And again, this is a type of thing where on a day-to-day basis, you could see on Friday it had tremendous volume on the upside. So something was going on. And that kind of alerted you to track a stock like this. And it came right up to this resistance point. And then you could see this overnight action and this morning's early action. It kind of just formed, again, the same kind of pattern I showed on Charter, where it just went sideways. So this buy right at the open around 10 on the breakout above that area was a great buy. It got all the way up close to 15. So that's like a 50% gain. So this is a hot stock of the day because, on Friday it had tremendous volume and was up. And then you just watch for a good price pattern for continuation. Now, again, if I would have said this is a great stock going forward and you bought it, like 20 minutes ago or a half hour ago at 15, it'll be down to 12 right now, and you're down 3 points and you're not happy. But meanwhile, it was a great trading opportunity. So also, it's coming up here to this target area where, which is about 15. So I don't know for sure if this is going to hold. The trade here is from 10 to 15. So on this one in particular, as I look at it, I'm not until it breaks above this 15, that might be a longer term play. But you can see here on the shorter term, that was a great short term trade that you're in and out of quickly. And then some others just quickly, like a stock I do like. I still like this F-Serve. I know we've discussed that before. And what's happening here is you had on the monthly chart, you had the big run up, and then we've just kind of like Charter, where it pulled back. This one, instead of go sideways, it pulled back just normally for about 2 or 3 months here. And we kind of got good buying down in here. And what you have here, you can see is just perfect. We're just kind of setting up with this blue line resistance on the short run. So when we break above 14, and we're close to it now, 1373, I definitely expect it to happen. This can set a whole new trend back here on the monthly chart, back up to those highs. So I kind of like this stock. It's a very tight stop here below these recent lows. You could see buying did come in when it got down around 12. So I'm expecting a breakout here and to head higher. But, in terms of until it happens, you don't know for sure. But that, to me, kind of like Charter, once it broke above 660, it really started higher. When this breaks above 14, it should really take off. And another stock I like that, and I'm just waiting for the turn, this stock Seed. It's an agricultural kind of stock in terms of well, whatever. It has to do with food and different kinds of, interesting things in the food industry. But anyway, that had a big run up here. You can see a lot of these stocks went from like 3 up to like 25. So they're due for a normal pullback here on the monthly chart. So to me, when this one turns around and starts higher, I'm excited about it. And the resistance here is this point. But I don't just jump in right away on a stock like this, even though I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking for it to eventually turn up, because I just like the company from what I've read about it. I like this pattern developing. But this one, I have to wait for the weekly chart to turn green and start higher. And that'll be kind of above this this recent level here of 16. So, it's at 14 now. I'm not jumping in, but should it start higher, that to me is going to be a good shorter term buy. That should then turn into a bit of a longer term buy. So anyway, I just wanted to point that out. There's a lot of stocks that just, some are have a lot of momentum right now. Others, I'm waiting for them to turn. And it's just, it's tricky on the short term, until they just kind of unfold on the exact moment where the price action meets the context of the chart. So I just wanted to point that out. But that F-Serve is one I'd really watch close. And that one I think is getting ready to start another leg back up again. So, I mean, there are actually a bunch of other ones too that I like, but that haven't turned yet, but are getting ready to, that I'm tracking. But, it's just a matter of having them on a watch list and being ready to jump on at the moment, they give the signal.